All right, kids. Since I made my last video earlier, Bitcoin's been on a little bit of a tear, up like $2,000. We're at almost $47,000 Bitcoin. Of course, this is all off the ETF news that we talked about. I pretty much said that if we get the ETF news, which it looks like it's 100% confirmed, we'll probably either get the thing tomorrow approved or whatever. We'll probably get a pump up of a couple $1,000s on Bitcoin, followed by a big dump, and I'm sticking to that, and it looks like everything's playing out perfectly. And I noticed that it's really a solely Bitcoin bump, although you do have Solana back up to $97, Cardano up 7%. I mean, I guess all coins are up a little bit, but it's not like earth-shattering gains. So we'll see what happens. You know, if Bitcoin gets above $48,000, and it might, because once they get that actual approval, maybe we'll get the 48,000. A lot of people are talking about 50,000. I don't know, guys. I mean, I can't see that happening just yet. But you never know. This is Bitcoin. Maybe it's possible. But I'm still kind of sticking to maybe $47,000, $48,000 Bitcoin. And then we're probably going to go into the dumperoos for a little bit to let things cool off. But all in all, everything looking good in crypto. Can't complain. I see a bunch of all the Bitcoin stocks are up. Everything looking great. You know, I saw Gary Gensler put a warning out yesterday or today telling people how risky crypto is. So it looks like he's trying to get all his ducks in the row before they issue the Bitcoin ETF. As many expect SEC approval of a spot Bitcoin exchange traded product to be incoming, the commission's chair warned crypto investments can be risky and volatile. United States Securities and Exchange Commissioner Chair Gary Gensler posted a thread on social media, Twitter, as many asset managers await the final word on approval or denial of the spot ETF. January 8th post, which was today, Gary called on crypto investors to keep some things in mind without specifically mentioning a spot Bitcoin ETF. According to the SEC chair, asset manager may not be complying with federal securities laws by offering crypto investment vehicles, and crypto can be exceptionally risky and volatile. Fraudsters continue to exploit the rising popularity of crypto assets to lure retail investors into scams. That is true. There are a lot of scammers out there. Here's his tweet. So obviously he's getting all his ducks in a row and this thing's pretty much approved. So congratulations to everybody. We've been waiting for this ETF for a while. I'd like to move past that now. Like I said, I don't think we're getting above $48,000, $47,000, but we could. I really have no idea. And I hope we go to $50,000 or $60,000 on this approval. Trust me, I'll be happy as can be. I'm just not anticipating it. But if we do, I'll be happy, and I could care less if I'm wrong about it. What else was in the news today? We talked about the Boeing. You know, I did a video yesterday. I know a lot of you guys are here for crypto, but I'm kind of talking about everything now. That the Boeing 737 MAX is a piece of shit, and Boeing is just a shithole of a company now. They're essentially the Kia. They make the Kia of all airplanes. And just flying on any Boeing product, you're just taking your life in your own hands. This guy on Breaking Points kind of summed up exactly what's going on with Boeing and just the U.S. decline and everything. American cars suck. I've been saying it for years. Buy an American car, it's a piece of shit. I drive a Mazda 3. The thing will run for 200,000 miles with just oil changes and brakes. You buy a Tesla, the thing needs a new $50,000 battery at 60,000 miles. You buy a Ford F-150, the thing's broken down the side of the road every 2 minutes. You buy a Kia, you buy a Hyundai, the engines are blown up under 100,000 miles. And now, if you're an airline, you buy a Boeing, the doors are flying off. It's absolutely despicable what's going on. And this is all the deterioration of America. And I don't blame just Democrats on that. I blame Republicans as well. The country's been sold out for profit, and that's just the way it's going to be, the way it is, until like there's some major changes. But this guy kind of sums it up, what's going on here.
Way that it is today, and how everything went wrong, you would be hard-pressed to find a better example than to simply trace the history of the Boeing company. The iconic American aerospace company that pumped out nearly 100,000 planes for the use in Second World War and was a poster child for the might, the ingenuity, and the dominance of the United States in the post-war era. Boeing was America. It employed tens of thousands of people, provided middle-class wages. It was a pathway to upward mobility, helped us go to the moon, pioneered stunning new aircraft to propel the U.S. military, kept innovating and designing new planes which propelled the vast majority of the nearly 100 million Americans today who set foot on a plane at least once a year. But underneath the Goliath, there has been a lot of rot, and rot now for quite some time. We got a reminder of this rot on January 5th, when stunning videos began to surface of the middle section of a brand new Boeing 737 MAX 9 that fell off in the middle of a flight that had just taken off from Portland, Oregon. Let's watch that if you haven't seen it yet.
This wasn't even the emergency door. We're at the end of the plane, so the emergency door's right there. It was just a piece of the plane. Okay, so there was no one seated there. There was thankfully.
And I also saw that there's another follow-up to this story where, so after this happened, the FAA and Boeing said, okay, we need to inspect all those doors for all the airlines. So here's an article. United Airlines finds loose bolts on several Boeing 37 MAX 9s after grounding. United Airlines has found loose bolts on door plugs of several Boeing 737 MAX 9 planes. Of course, the plugs are what hold the door in. If the plugs fail, the door flies off and everybody gets sucked out of the plane. The Federal Aviation Administration on Saturday grounded dozens of 737 MAX 9s after the panel blew off the flight. So now they're starting to actually inspect these things because they're brand new. It's like you buy a brand new car, you don't expect bolts to be loose, and that's kind of what you do get. You know, at this point in history, if you buy any other vehicle, and I know a lot about cars. I do my own brakes, I do my own timing belts, I do my own water pumps, radiator. I have a 93 Wrangler YJ that I completely rebuilt myself. I rebuilt a Mazda Miata. I do all the work on my Mazda 3. So I know a lot about cars, and I can, definitely even working on my Jeep, I can say, even though that's an older American car, I mean, the Jeep's a piece of shit, but it has a strong engine. That's the only saving grace for Jeeps, at least the older ones. They have strong engines, but everything else, you just replace it. They rust out, and they're fun. They look cool, and I paid $3,000 for it, and it was fun to tinker with. But it is a piece of junk, and then my Mazda will just last forever. It'll last for 200,000-300,000 miles, and I won't have to do anything to it. It already has 120,000 miles on it, and it has, other than brakes and oil changes, I've done nothing to it. But you buy yourself an American car, the thing it's falling apart. Like my friend has an F-150. Every week it's in the dealer for another recall. Like I'm not kidding. Every week, all the American cars recalls, and it just goes to show that the disintegration of America and America infrastructure. There's no pride anymore in people making these cars. You used to have Detroit, car hub of the world. People would take pride in their work. They want to make a quality automobile. Now it's not about quality. It's just about having the parts made as cheap as possible in China. Everybody making these cars, they're all on drugs. They're all smoking pot all day. They're just high. They're miserable. They're on antidepressants. And the same with Boeing. Even these scientists, I know plenty of smart people who are just as drugged up as my dumb friends that I know. And they go to work every day and they put together a freaking plane, and they can't even put a bolt on the door tight enough so it doesn't fall off. So these little things kind of represent the end of America. Like America is not number one anymore. I don't know what's going to take it over, but the demise of Boeing. Boeing's done. The stock's done 20%. Nobody wants their stock. The reputation of Boeing is completely in the gutter. It will never come back. It was an American success story. Ford is known as making shitty cars. Chrysler known as making shitty cars. Everything American you think of right now is just shit and shit quality. And that, it really is unfortunate, but it kind of goes back to what I said yesterday. Like, I don't want to fly on planes. I've been all over the world. I've been to China. I've been to Europe. I got family in Greece. Like, I've been everywhere. I've seen the Great Wall. I've done it all. I may not look it, but I'm pretty cultured. But I have no interest in getting on any plane. I mean, it's just like, I don't trust the pilots. I don't trust the crew. I don't trust the people I'm sitting next to on the plane. They're all cracked out and fighting and just like crazy. And I don't trust the plane. I don't trust the mechanics. I don't trust the engineering. It's all a big shit show. But yeah, I mean, these are brand new planes. Hundreds of people have already died from the crashes a couple years ago on these planes, where the thing was just crashing into the ground, and the pilots had no control over it because it was an anti-stall feature. And of course, to get a plane out of a stall, it has to bring the nose down, but it was bringing the nose down at 100 feet off the ground because the thing was just going crazy. So, it's kind of what happens when you put automation ahead of humans and you let automation control everything. And that's kind of how you get Terminator 2, right? That's how you get Terminators, when you let the robots control everything. But yeah, it's not looking too good for Boeing. The stock's down, and just like the amount of death and destruction. And if the plane was higher up when this happened, everybody would have been sucked out and everybody would have suffocated. But it was only 15,000 feet off the ground, so the pilots were able to nosedive down and get down to some oxygen, and the suction wasn't as hard or as intense because they were lower to the ground. And I also want to talk about this is more so crypto related and just scammer related, because I love talking about scammers. This guy, who's like one of my favorite YouTubers now, his name's Jack Morgan, and he talks about everything. But he just talks about the epidemic of get-rich-quick gurus and them writing books and selling courses. Of course, I make mainly crypto videos, and I've been talking about this for years. Like, I basically said, the one way you can tell if you're being scammed in crypto is the guy trying to sell you a course. And almost all the big crypto YouTubers right now are trying to sell you a course. Here's, got Benjamin Cohen, who everybody loves right here. Total scammer, trying to sell you a course, and he's always wrong. You got Gareth Soloway trying to sell you a trading course. Oh, almost always wrong, this guy. The guy was telling you Bitcoin was going to go to $3,000 when it was $15,000. Like, the guy has no gauge on the market. I guess he's an okay stock trader, but every big YouTuber, you just pick them. 90% of the time, they're going to sell you a course. And then not just the crypto guys, you have like the Meet Kevin guys, the real estate guys. In the 90s, when I was growing up, you had Don Lapre. Here he is. He turned out to be a scammer. He went to jail, then he committed suicide. You had Carlton Sheets, the real estate guy. You had this guy right here, Kevin Trudeau, selling you the Natural Cures book, or the book of information of how you can take, ginger root and cure your cancer. And he was sentenced to, I guess, 25 years in jail. I think he's in jail right now. But there's like every generation from the 90s up until now, the big scam, the easiest scam to perpetrate on people is selling information. And some of the biggest guys right now are no different than the scammers of the 90s and early 2000s. Like Meet Kevin's a popular one right now, big scammer. Clearly he's just a salesman. So this guy kind of talks about it a little bit. He kind of goes through the courses, and it really does make sense that he's just making fun of them, but like, they're all scammers.
Okay, let's get into some pricing here. This is like gold stuff. Literally, it's gold. Okay, I'm not just saying that as a, I'm not just being sarcastic. All right, so we got the first course is $430. Private Discord access, course member live streams. Okay, so it looks like you don't get shit for that. All right, let's go down to the second one. Second one, you're going to get the stocks, the making money with AI, the DIY property, all for a low price of $2,530. You want to hit? Good Lord. It keeps going. Hold on. This is like... This is awesome. Real quick, just to clarify, it was $2,500 there and $30. The second one is the Diamond Experience. And the Platinum Experience. You get all of the first features, the buying the real estate, stack hack. What the fuck is a stack hack? So basically, this is all for a low price of $9,990.
So $10,000. This is the guy, Meet Kevin. Everybody knows who this guy is. He's all over the internet. I don't know how the hell he made all his money, but he's making all his money now. He's just scamming people, selling people $10,000 courses. Now, there's some other guys he talks about too, but they're all scammers. Anyway, so this guy buys Kevin's course on how to make money on YouTube, and he kind of does a little review of it for Meet Kevin's YouTube course.
Course worth it. And just 2 words, Absolutely not. Honestly, I spent $500 on this course just for me, Kevin, to teach me
Loser.
how to turn on a light, how to adjust your microphone, how to set up your camera. Like, bro, I bought this course because I just became monetized on YouTube, and I was trying to figure out how to get from 1,000 subs to 10,000 subs to 100,000 subs, maybe even 1,000,000 subs like me, Kevin. And all he talked about was how to make a thumbnail, how to set up your video.
So that's what these guys do, and it's been going on since the 80s and 90s. The scammers have figured out a formula that works. They put together information. They sell you information. They write this chicken scratch book, or they put together this webinar that takes them an hour to put together. They string it together with a bunch of BS, and they sell it to you. And 90% of the people who buy it, they figure out it's a scam, but they just kind of let it go. It's kind of like when you spend money on something, you know, you got ripped off on Amazon or something like that, but you just like say, oh, fuck it. You know, I'm not going to like complain about it. Then say the other 10% of people ask for a refund, and they probably just give the person a refund because unlike selling a product even on Amazon where you have to send somebody through their mail, you have to pay for shipping, you're actually sending them an actual product. When you buy information from somebody, like a book on how to make money in real estate or a book on how to make money on YouTube, it doesn't cost you anything. And especially nowadays where everything is sent through the internet. So you buy, if I made a book, an online book right now, How to Get Rich on YouTube, and I sell it to 10 people for $100 each, 2 of those people say, hey, Mike, I want a refund. This thing's a big scam. I can just refund them the money. It didn't cost me anything to send them that email of the shitty book full of BS that I just made. So what these guys do is they sell the information online. It's a scam. Everybody knows it. And it's probably more like 40 or 50% of the people ask for a refund, and they probably get it. But the half of the people who just say, fuck it, maybe I'm not doing it right, or I'm going to give it a chance, they hold on to the course, they don't send it back, and that's how they make all their money. But all these guys are such charlatans, and that's why I always said, especially with crypto, but real estate, anything online, if anybody's selling you a course, right off the back, boom, scammer. You know they're a scammer and keep away. So here's some other guys, they're kind of fighting back and forth, all these scammers fighting.
Fucking
Robert Kiyosaki,
It's genius. Why didn't I think of that?
who wrote Rich.
Now, for me, like I said, I've been a private investigator for 20 years. This guy right here, I can tell you right there, that guy's a criminal just by looking at him. Can't prove it in court, just off a video. I look in that guy's eyes, you're a criminal, and he's just selling people scams. Just by anybody with any common sense. I don't even know who this guy is, but I can look at him right now and say, wow, right there, you're dealing with a felon.
Yeah, Robert really likes me.
He said he doesn't agree with your financial advice, and he said I don't put much worth in Grant Cardone's words. Why do you guys have this kind of disagreement?
I think Robert said, I've gone toe-to-toe with Cardone many times. He and I have gone head-to-head with each other. I don't put much worth in his words. The next time you meet him, ask him, how many times has he even met me in person?
How many times has he met you?
0.
Have you guys done an interview or anything?
I did one podcast with him. He's never been toe-to-toe with me. That was a lie. He's never met me. I've spent maybe 12 minutes with him in an interview. I don't know what he knows about my advice. I don't know why he would disagree with anything when we haven't even spent any time together. I know this. Maybe he should do more of what he says. Why don't you own $4 billion worth of real estate?
What Robert said was that he doesn't keep his money in cash. Apparently, overseas, he has these big vaults just filled with gold bricks.
Did Robert tell you who wrote Rich Dad Poor Dad?
He didn't write it?
Might be like his goal.
What? Just 2 get-rich gurus both arguing with each other and saying, don't listen to that get-rich guy. I just thought that was rich, honestly. And to be fair, with the Rich Dad Poor Dad, I read that book like 10 years ago, and it was actually a pretty good book. It was kind of more like a biography, kind of. Like even, I thought it was a pretty good book. I mean, he's pretty honest about it. He's like, I got rich selling books. Hey, man, they're all pretty sketchy if you ask me. I don't trust them. You know what I mean? I'd rather spend $15 on a book than, buy somebody's fucking $2,000 course. That's for sure. So, to be fair on that one. And now we got another one. Graham Stephan. Yay.
Welcome back to the Graham Stephan Show, and today we're going to be exposing financial gurus and why you shouldn't listen to them from none other than Ramit Sethi. Now, if that name sounds familiar, it's because he has a channel on YouTube called I Will Teach You to Be Rich.
I will teach you to be rich. You can't make it. It's rich, robust, and rewarding. I love it. The best part is, though, I'm only putting these in here because it's like all these get-rich guru guys. Because the Graham Stephan dude, this guy here, his claim to fame was like how I became a millionaire by 25 or some shit. Like, that's his claim to fame. You know, so he's no better than any of the rest of them. I get it. Like, I don't care. Like,
So it's just funny. All the get rich guys hate each other because they're all kind of like, they're all like fish. They're all like sharks going after the same fish. And you guys are that fish. So they just all hate each other. It's just scammer versus scammer. But I guess my point is with this little video, it's just like these guys, Graham Stephan, Meet Kevin, the other guy, even Kiyosaki, like all these guys, they're no different than the YouTubers who we see right now selling you a course, selling you Bitcoin's going to $1 million, selling you a trading course, telling you, hey, look, I'll teach you how to turn $500 into $1 million trading Bitcoin. You just pick your crypto YouTuber. They're all the same. Crypto Banter, George from Cryptos. Like anybody selling you something, they're pretty much a scammer. And it's been like that throughout history. And Bitcoin and crypto guys are no different. So I thought that guy was pretty funny. Wow, look, Gareth Soloway, look, he aged. This bear market really aged Gareth Soloway. Also, if you notice about Gareth Soloway, the only person who has him on anymore is Benjamin Cohen. If you remember, Gareth Soloway used to be on all the big YouTuber shows, but he turned out to be completely wrong about everything. Just like I said, eventually, I made a video, I can probably dig it up. About 6 months ago, I said, eventually Gareth Soloway will be wrong and nobody's going to have him on anymore. And that's what happened. Crypto Banter won't have him on, George, Bitboy, like nobody will talk to him anymore except for this Benjamin Cohen, who's also been equally as wrong. So anyway, guys, that's pretty much it. That's the news of the day. And like and subscribe. Talk to you later.